What's up, guys? Andy here, and today I want to speak on a very, very important subject matter. Of course, mental health is an incredibly important topic in whatever capacity, but certainly when it relates to my ability to give some evidence and some science around the interaction between nutrition and mental health outcomes, that's where I really, really get excited and motivated, okay? So today we are going to talk about anxiety. Now, anxiety is just a short form for anxiety disorders, which are a family of conditions with similar characteristics, okay? Now, anxiety disorders are the most prevalent mental health disorder in the world, more than depression, yes. Over 275 million people are affected by anxiety disorders. Females tend to be more likely to be affected, but there are over 100 million males who are also affected by anxiety, so don't get it twisted, okay? Anxiety medication is among the most frequently prescribed here in Canada, so we've characterized the issue. It is a significant concern. Mental health is a significant concern. So the question we have to answer today is, are there supplements out there that can improve your anxiety symptoms if you are an anxiety sufferer? It's not an easy question to answer. I've just written a blog post on this topic. The link is in the description. And here's what I can tell you. The state of the evidence around the interaction between nutrition and anxiety is not compelling. It's not sufficiently robust, but it is intriguing, and there's enough there to justify what I'm going to call an introductory discussion, which is what I'm going to have here today with you guys. Okay? So look, there are 4 supplements. I'm sure there are more, but there are 4 supplements which caught my attention when I looked at the best available evidence. So let's go through them. All right. Number 1 is vitamin D. Okay. So the evidence between vitamin D and anxiety symptoms is limited, but what there is there's at least one study that's demonstrated that in individuals with insufficient vitamin D levels, or vitamin D deficiency, was what I mean to say, that 1,600 international units of vitamin D over a 6-month period did indeed improve their symptoms. Now, that's one study, one experimental study. It's not overly robust, but there's something there. And why is that relevant? Well, the fact of the matter is vitamin D is found in literally no foods. Really, it's just found in fish. But the problem is a lot of people don't like fish. And I know that not only from talking to all my clients, but also from looking at the population level data, right? So if you don't eat fish and you don't supplement vitamin D and you live in Canada, there are going to be problems there. And if you have insufficient, or rather deficient, vitamin D levels and anxiety, well, you may be worsening your symptoms as a result. So vitamin D is one thing to consider. The next thing, which follows logically, is omega-3 fatty acids. Now, omega-3 fatty acids are not as elusive as vitamin D because they are, yes, found in large amounts in fish. They're also found in seafood. They're found in the plant-based form, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, a little bit in soy as well, okay? Now, the evidence for omega-3s around anxiety is perhaps a little bit better. Now, there are studies to suggest that about 2,000 milligrams per day of EPA and DHA, which are very specific omega-3s found in fish, can indeed improve anxiety outcomes, okay? If you want to see the reference for that, check my article in the link in the description. Now, part of the reason for this is there's a lot of interest around the connection between neuroinflammation, which is a fancy way to say inflammation of the brain cells, and mental health outcomes. So omega-3s obviously are known for their anti-inflammatory capability, and it follows that, there's a connection there. It doesn't mean that it's that straightforward, but there's something there. More research might be required, but fair enough, right? You need to make sure you get sufficient omega-3s in your diet. Work with a dietitian if you're unsure how to do that. The next topic of interest, which then again follows logically, is curcumin, okay? So there's limited evidence to suggest that curcumin supplementation at about 1 gram a day over a 30-day period can actually reduce anxiety symptoms in those living with anxiety, okay? Curcumin is the bioactive component of turmeric, and it is well known to be a potent anti-inflammatory compound. It's actually very well studied in a variety of capacities. Again, link in the description to my article if you want to learn more about curcumin, but it's very well studied, okay? This takes us to the final point in terms of supplementation for anxiety outcomes, which is prebiotics, all right? Now, what's the problem here? Well, gut dysbiosis, which is the fancy way to say an imbalance between good and bad bacteria in the human digestive system, contributes to a lot of health problems. And you know what? Given that the gut and the brain are in constant communication, it might contribute to anxiety too. And here's the case in point, right? I found an experimental study which looked at young adult women, and they gave them what was called a prebiotic supplement called acronym GOS. You can learn more in the link in the description, okay? Now, GOS is a prebiotic fiber. What that really means is a fancy way to say that it acts as food for your healthy gut bacteria because it makes it all the way to where they live, and your gut bacteria like to kind of eat them or ferment them in the proper term. This creates a whole cascade of positive effects, which again, you can learn more about in the link in the description. What this study found was 2 things. First of all, GOS supplementation. Again, you can purchase this as a supplement, and we'll talk about the food sources in a moment, but GOS supplementation not only improved the healthy gut bacteria, but it also reduced anxiety symptoms. Very, very interesting finding. limited in capacity given it was one study, but again, we're here to discuss things on an introductory level, right? So look, which foods are high in GOS, in this prebiotic fiber? Well, legumes are. And if you've watched my previous videos, if you've read any of my content, if you're one of my clients, you know that my thoughts are as follows. Legumes are the most underappreciated, underrated food group relative to their numerous health benefits, and their health benefits are vast, okay? I'm not going to get into it now because I've talked about it previously, but legumes, by the way, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, so on and so forth. This is a really, really rich dietary source of prebiotic fiber. Consider incorporating more. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys, and I'll catch you next time.